Hi, I'm Henry Byers. Welcome to the Drayage Update. In partnership with Next, I'm sitting here with Fava. We're taking a look at really hindsight 2019, how the drayage market performed, looking into 2020, some trends, maybe a bit of forecasting, just where things are headed. Yeah. In your opinion, specifically in regards to the drayage market, coming out of 2019 and the trade war and volumes taking a dip here at the end, especially in like Los Angeles and Long Beach. What do you see happening in 2020?
I think it's very interesting. I think that people forget about how the drayage market really plays into all these other markets and all these other modes of transportation. It's really the middleman in a lot of these areas, whether it's things coming in the ocean and then being drayed and then obviously going on the truck. And I think the drayage companies are really in the middle of all that, and they don't only have to work with warehouses but also with terminals and the ports, which makes it quite difficult. So I think that, looking at kind of how volume have been shifting with recent events, 2020 is going to be interesting, and I think that's going to be quite difficult. I don't think it's going to be an easy Q1 or Q2. I think drayage companies are definitely going to have to, really understand how they can use technology and to their advantage to really make sure that they can cover their loads in the most efficient way.
Yeah, I certainly would agree. I think Q1 and Q2 are going to be especially tough for those who aren't prepared, especially if it catches anyone off guard. And I think what you're seeing really in the drayage market, you may or may not agree, is really a separation between those who are adapting to technology, using data like we have with the sonar platforms like that, and really using that to forecast and better understand really when there's a downturn, how are you going to be prepared for that?
Absolutely. I think especially like you said, when there's a downturn, and then also how do you make sure that you prepare for the unexpected? Because when there's a downturn, there's always going to be somewhat of an, it going back up as well. And then you have to be prepared for that on a capacity standpoint. And I think making sure that you don't run into where, you're not prepared for the swings up or down to mitigate charges and mitigate risk, I think that's when it gets difficult. So mitigating risk really and making sure that you're prepared and then also really manage your containers and really those accessorial fees that could come with that to make sure that you don't, as a dray carrier, have to sit on those. Because I think communication is key, and preparing and optimizing that is really something that you have to use in these days to prepare for it and manage it.
It's good perspective. So you manage a lot of enterprise level operations, international freight forwarding, and VOCC work, scheduled a lot of drayage. Heading into 2020, do you have any advice for BCOs, shippers, in terms of how are you looking at drayage at this point in time, and when you're looking into 2020 and 2021's contract year?
Yeah, I think pre-planning is something that pre-planning and using technology to help you pre-plan so you're prepared for those swings up and down. I think that there's a lot of money lost and won when it comes to charges like demurrage and per diem and such, just by not managing where those containers are at all times. So having visibility to where those containers are at all times and managing them accordingly is the key. And I think it's quite difficult to do that if you don't have the help of technology. So utilizing that to really making sure that you have the visibility you need to avoid that, because it's not really, drayage rates, especially, when it comes to just a base rate local LA, we all know what that's going to be. But where you can really lose a lot of money is when it comes to waiting time at the port. So understanding what that's going to look like to schedule the appointments appropriately, or making sure that you know what those free times are outside the port and managing it that way with the drop and hook. I think those are the things that are really going to play a key role when those swings happen.
I thought it was interesting you mentioning that really drayage carriers specifically are almost caught in the middle of a lot of what's going on, because you do have the ocean carriers, you do have the BCOs. Oftentimes contracts are really, that's how people are looking at them, right? Like drayage is a portion of that. Obviously, ocean carriers are doing less and less of the drayage. That may not be the case in the future with, Maersk moving in, acquiring Damco, CMA with Fava, things like that. But really, when you're looking at the drayage specifically, if you're a BCO, what technology, let's say, you're used to sending your loads over after the ships arrive, things like that. Like as a BCO, where are you investing in terms of visibility in that drayage, that final mile or last mile?
I think it has a lot to do with what dray carriers and what dray providers you're choosing for your business and really creating partnerships, because you really can't do it on your own. And when you're a BCO, I don't really think that you really want to be a transportation or logistics expert. And partnering with people that are experts, I think, is key. And then partnering with experts that have technologies that can bring that visibility and track and trace, knowing where everything is at all times, so you don't run into like, why has this container been sitting at the warehouse for 22 days and nobody knew about it and was dropped, right? It happens all the time. So I think partnering with the right people that can help with that, I think that's going to be key for those BCOs. And the same thing for dray carriers, making sure that they can provide those partnerships and services, not just we can help you pick up and deliver containers, but hey, we have these additional services that we can provide to bring visibility and provide cost savings.
I agree. I think everyone, drayage carriers specifically, be prepared for Q1, Q2.
Absolutely.
I think from a BCO perspective, even if your concern is freight release, customs release, things like that, and you're not wanting to tender those loads early, getting a relationship where you can confidently send that type of information.
Absolutely.
Send it 30 days in advance. Shipments going from, coming from East Asia to the East Coast can be 30 days.
Exactly.
So why not send it early? So I appreciate the insight.
For sure.
It'll be an exciting 2020, I'm sure, regardless, but hopefully it works out for everyone.